Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin and I'm a graphic designer here at Craftsmith. We make a lot of the cute products that you could find at Michael's. Thanks so much for joining us today. Today we are going to be making this really cute little shaker card here. It's a perfect little gift that you can give to someone for Christmas just to spread a little extra holiday cheer. Again, if you have any questions, pop them into the chat and we can get to you that way. And yeah, if you need to repeat any steps, like Kelly said, the class will be recorded and available on Michael's YouTube channel. So we can switch to the overhead and we can jump right into it. So I'm going to be working mainly with our Silent Night paper pad. This is a really pretty paper pad. It's got a lot of these nice pastels, your blues, your pinks. It's just a really nice play on your traditional Christmas palette. You're also going to be needing this Christmas shimmer pad. Again, though, you can use any paper pads you have. It's really customizable, easy to kind of personalize to your own taste. This shimmer pad has a lot of nice solids. And I don't know if you can see on camera, but it has, each page has this really pretty shimmer effect on there. So it just gives it a little something extra. You're also going to be needing an acetate sheet. All these can be found on michaels.com. This is a little hard to see, it's a little transparent. But you can also use transparency sheets that are found at office supply stores. Any kind of thin plastic sheet you have would work perfect. And I'm going to be using a photo in my shaker card today. This is just a photo of my son's first Christmas from a couple years ago. My dad dressed up as Santa. It gives it a little nice, personalized touch. You could also just use another pattern sheet of paper if you have it. And you're going to be needing the template sheet that was linked in our supplies list as well. So we have our large and our small present template and our bow template there as well. So yeah, we can go ahead and just get started. Let me move all this out of the way. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on our base here. So for my base, I'm going to be using this pink snowflake sheet from the Silent Night pad. So I'm just going to rip that out. This paper is really nice because it has this like silver foil, gives it a little something extra. And since the final card we're going to be doing is going to be a 5x7 finish size, I'm just going to cut it down since this sheet is a 12x12. So I'm going to start and cut it at 7 inches. And then since we'll be folding it in half, I'm going to cut it at 10. So if you have a bone folder or a scoring tool, you can use that here. I'm just going to take my chances since we only have one fold and just get a nice crisp line there. And our base is all set, so we can go ahead and set that aside. The next step we're going to be working on is our actual shaker part here. So you're going to go ahead and take your template. If you haven't already, go ahead and cut that out. Again, everything is sized for a 5x7 card. If you want to use a different photo, like say you have a 4x6 or you want to use a horizontal photo, feel free to make your own template. You can customize the shape of the present however you want. I do recommend making a template for yourself. It'll make it easier just because you'll have to cut out a few different sheets using the same shape. So if you do end up changing the shape, make sure you have a small and a large version. The small will be about 1/4 of an inch smaller on all sides. And that's how we're going to get this nice border piece on the top. So I've got mine cut out right here. And for my base, I'm using a photo. So I'm going to go in with a photo. Again, if you want to use just a regular pattern paper, you can go ahead and take that now. I'm going to center my template kind of on top of my photo where I want it. I'm going to have it right at the top there. And then just grab a pencil and go ahead and sketch that out. All right, and then you can just go and take your scissors, cut that right out. All right, so our base is all finished there. The next step we're going to be working on is the top of our shaker. And I'm using this really cute little ribbon tick from our Silent Night pad. It's got this really nice silver foil on it, which makes it a really pretty accent piece. Take that piece out. And again, we're going to use our large present template. So when you are sketching out a template, it's always good to kind of turn your sheet around. So if you get any pencil marks that aren't cut off, you're not going to see it on your finished product. So I'm going to go ahead and just lightly sketch that out here. I'll go ahead and cut that out. And we have our nice little top here. So now we're going to take our small present template and we're going to go ahead and center that kind of inside as best we can of that top piece that we just cut out. That way we can kind of sketch out what we need to cut out to make our border piece. Just go ahead and lightly trace that. And then if you have an X-Acto knife, you can kind of like score that for your scissors to go in. I'm just going to go with the good old bend and snip here. Just try not to crease it too much. And then just carefully kind of cut that border out to the middle. Make sure not to rip it. It's going to be a little fragile. There we go. We got our nice little border there. Okay, we're going to need one more sheet to finish our little shaker. So you can see why it's nice to have a template. You're cutting out so many little bits that it'll be nice to just have kind of a uniform shape here. So take your acetate sheet and we're going to do one more of the large present template. For this, pencil's not really going to show up on your acetate sheet. I found that a ballpoint pen kind of does the best job. If you use an ink pen, it could kind of bleed on there and smudge a little bit. But if you use a ballpoint, I find that that kind of does a good job. And you can even kind of press down a little harder and score it if you need to. Just going to trace that out there. Okay. And since our border is going to sit kind of on top of that acetate, we're going to want to cut it a little bit smaller than what we drew out. So I'm just going to cut right inside those lines, just a little bit. You don't need too much off. But just enough so that it won't show when you actually piece everything all together.
Hi, Caitlin. Sorry to interrupt. Can you just move your hands a little bit higher? We're having a hard time saying.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Thank you.
My orientation's a little off. Okay, how's that?
Better. Thank you.
All right, so now we kind of have our pieces together so we can start constructing. I'm going to start with our little border here. I'm taking some double-sided foam tape. The foam tape is kind of important because you're going to need to build up a little bit of height on your shaker so that the confetti has some room to move around in. So I'm just going to turn that around and then start placing my foam tape there and then just trimming off the pieces that I don't need. And you're going to want to make sure that your foam tape is kind of nicely all butted up against each other, because the last thing you want is if you mail this to someone, you don't want to accidentally glitter bomb them and have all the confetti fly everywhere. So I'm just making sure that everything's nicely touching together. And our last piece over here. And I'm going to peel off the backing. Set that aside. And then we're just going to place our acetate that we cut out right on top of there. Oh, sticky. Okay. Just kind of center that. Best we can. And then you have this nice little kind of window. All right. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do that same thing with our photo or our base. So if you're using a photo, go ahead and put the tape on top of that, or if you're just using a pattern paper, we're just going to place it right on top on the edge. And again, make sure that you have a nice seal. Everything's nicely butted up against each other. Go here. All right, so now I'm going to leave the adhesive backing on there for now, just because we're going to fill it with our sequins next, and you don't want the sequins kind of sticking to the tape. So I'm using these really fun snowflake sequins and these iridescent glitters. These are some like little star shapes, and there's these really nice little pearl beads inside. You can really use anything you have on hand. If you can even make your own. If you have some small little Christmas punches, you could punch out of the paper pad, or you could use tissue paper, really whatever you have on hand. I'm just gonna fill that up. It's not too much, but a little bit. And then the snowflakes are a little larger than I thought, so I'm just gonna add a couple in there. And once we have all our little bits in there, we can take off our adhesive backing. Just make sure you're careful so everything doesn't go flying. Now we can take our little window that we made and kind of just place it right on top. So if you can see on this card, the top's going to be hidden a little bit by this bow. So just make sure the bottom is nicely aligned. And if the top isn't perfect, then it's all right. Take that right on top. Make sure all our little beads are nicely in there. And there you go, a nice little, oops, sorry, nice little shaker. So again, on mine, I have a little bit of foam peeking out. That's all right. Scissors were made to cover my mistakes, so we could just snip that off. And there you go, a nice little shaker bit. So we're going to set that aside, and next we're going to be working on our bow, our nice little 3D bow here. So you're going to need your bow template. Mine's nicely put out here. So the nice thing about this template is that it kind of folds in on itself, and it's like one little piece for the bow. So the final thing will be kind of like that. But you will see the front and the back of the paper. So since I'm working with single-sided paper here, I'm going to just go ahead and kind of quickly make my own double-sided paper. But if you had double-sided paper, that works as well. I'm using this kind of white snowflake print from the pad, keeping with our little snowflake theme here. So I'm just going to grab my paper trimmer again. And I'm going to cut 2 strips of about 2 inches wide. You just want to make sure it's wide enough that your bow will be able to fit. Sorry, the child lock is on. Okay. So just cut about 2 2-inch strips. I'm just going to take a glue stick and just quickly glue those to each other. You can also use double-sided tape here if you have it, or like a glue runner, whatever you have on hand. Just quickly kind of glue these 2 pages together. Now it'll actually be nice to kind of have this extra strength added, so your bow will be extra strong. Okay, so now we have our nice double-sided sheet, and we're going to take our bow template and just sketch that on top too. So the template seems kind of large, but when it's all folded together, it'll be a little smaller. But again, you can customize this. You can make it smaller, the bow smaller if you wanted. If you wanted to do multiple bows on there, you could also make a big jumbo bow would be kind of cool. If you wanted to make the template larger. All right, so now we have our template kind of sketched out on there. I'm gonna go just take my scissors and cut it out. And again, you can use any pattern paper you'd like. I'm using white kind of just to offset all the pink we have. You can use a solid color, would be really pretty from that shimmer pad. Anything Christmassy. All right. So now we have our nice little bow cut out. So if you go back to the template, you'll notice that there's these kind of two little notches. One's coming from the bottom and one's coming from the top. I'm going to just go ahead and sketch that onto my pattern paper. We're going to cut these notches. Make sure you don't cut all the way through because obviously you want to keep these little trapezoid pieces intact. But we're going to cut kind of halfway through on both sides. And then you're going to fold the bow on the back and kind of nestle those two little notches into each other. Might have to finagle it a little bit, but they'll get in. And you're left with this kind of little fishy shape. And then when you turn it over and you squish it down a little, you get this nice little bow. So you could add some double stick tape on the inside here or some glue and kind of just squash it down and be done. I'm going to add a little strip of paper around the middle just to kind of make it a little more finished looking. So I'm going to go back in with that this pink snowflake paper that I used. Again, you can use any pattern or color you'd like. And I'm going to cut about a 1/4 inch strip. Just like that. And then this is what I'm going to wrap around the middle to kind of keep our bow in place. And just squish it down and add your paper around. And then on the back here, I'm going to add a little bit of glue, my glue stick. Again, you can use double-sided tape, your foam tape, and kind of just press that piece down. And I'm going to wrap this second piece around, but I'm going to need to trim it a little bit. I'm just going to cut that off right there. Again, add a little bit more glue. And then pop that on there, squish it down, make sure it doesn't pop up. And then you're left with this really cute, oh, see, there's what not to do. You got to squish it down a little bit to make sure it doesn't pop up. There we go. We got this cute little bow that's all intact. And yeah. Okay, so on to the next step. Put our bow aside there. So now we're going to make this little lid part here to kind of really finish off our present. This is where I'm going to use our Christmas shimmer pad. I'm going to go in with this icy blue in the back, just to kind of play off the little blues that are in our stripe. And I'm going to use the paper trimmer one last time. Cut off about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch size strip. This part's really up to you too. However thick or thin you'd like that little lid piece to be. We're gonna take our little shaker base here and just kind of place it on there, see how much overhang I want. And just trim it just like that. So now we got our little lid piece. The next thing we're going to need to do is just finish it off with these little tag detail here. Going back into our Silent Night pad. And this pad has this really fun little ribbon page here, which is nice because all of the designs are already kind of sized to like a tag size. I'm going to go in with this dark snowflake and just trim it out. And that's going to be my little bottom base tag there. And then just to kind of layer with these little words on top, and you're going to go in here, and I think peace and joy is a good sentiment to have on there. So I'm just going to chop that off. Trim it a little better. Okay. Now our little tag pieces. And to make this look a little more like a tag, I'm just going to trim off the top here. So it looks a little more like a traditional little luggage tag. And so I don't lose these, I'm going to just layer that on top and glue it down a little bit with my glue stick. And there's our little detail. Okay, now we're going to assemble everything. So grab your little shaker base, your lid, and your bow. And I'm just gonna put everything on top. So for this, I'm gonna just add some glue. Again, you can use double-sided tape or your foam tape. Just gonna add that on top. That, make sure that's nice and on there. And I'm gonna just take my bow and my tag before I glue it down and just kind of make sure that I have a placement that I'm happy with. My little tails on my ribbon here are looking a little too long for what I want. So I'm just gonna go ahead and trim those a little bit. Again, the magic of scissors. Yeah, I think that looks a little better. And you can see a little more of that lid piece there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue my tag down now that I got a little placement that I'm happy with. Go there so I don't block Grandpa's face. And then my bow, I'm actually gonna go back in with my foam tape just to give it a little bit of height. A little bit more height on there. Stick that on the back there. Just kind of really squeeze that on. Make sure it won't go anywhere. And our little shaker base is all done there. Okay, our last step is just to be going back in with our base that we made at the beginning. And we're just gonna glue that right in the middle there. So you can use a glue stick here or double stick tape. I'm just gonna hit it with the glue stick. The foam tape would be really, if you're mailing it, I recommend using that because it's really sticky and we'll make sure it won't like come off during mailing. Going to stick that right in the middle and nicely make sure that's all down on there. And there you go. We did it. A really cute little shaker present card that you can send to brighten up someone's day. You can open it there, write your message. We have our cute little photo in there. And our fun little shaker bits, confetti, move around there, give it a little movement. And we have this really fun little 3D bow that kind of finishes it off. I have a couple here that I did using just another sheet from the Silent Night pad instead of a photo. You can see that it's also a really cute option with the little different color schemes as well. So really the possibilities are endless. You can customize it however you'd like with whatever you have on hand for a really cute little card. So if we have any more questions, We can switch back to the front-facing camera. So yeah, if there's nothing else, Nikki, the templates are in the supplies list. It'll link you to a PDF that you can download. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Again, a really cute card that you can send to someone. You can just give it to someone, pop a gift card in there, and you're all set. If you make this card, we'd love to see it. You can tag us on Instagram. We're at craftsmithco. Tag Michaels as well. And if you have any other questions, you can ask us on social media. And again, if you need to repeat the steps, or if you just want to make this card over and over and over again, it'll be recorded and available on Michael's YouTube channel. So thank you so much for joining us. Happy holidays and happy crafting.